Question 11. Find the value of 35x squared plus 2x minus 48 when x is 25. Well, I'm going to have 35 times 25 squared plus 2 25s gives me 50 minus 48. And if I put that in my calculator, I get the answer 21,877. Great. Part B. By factorising the expression. All right, I've got to factorise this expression here. 35x squared plus 2x minus 48. How to factorise that? I can't pull out a common factor, so I'm going to factorise this by splitting the x's. So I'm going to find two numbers which multiply to the product of 35 and minus 48. So they're going to multiply to 1,680 and which add to 2. Now, two numbers which multiply to 1,680 but add to 2, well, the numbers must be almost equal because one of them is positive, one of them is negative, but they add to 2. So I'm going to square root 1,680. That gives me 40 point something. So I'm going to hazard a guess that I'm going to be looking at 40 as one of my numbers. If I do 1,680 divided by 40, I get the answer 42. So that means that two numbers which multiply to minus 1,680 and add to 2 are going to be minus 40 and plus 42. So I'm going to split my two x's into 35x squared. Instead of writing plus 2x, I'm going to write plus 42x minus 40x minus 48. And I'm going to factorise my first two terms. 7x goes into those two. 5x plus 6 times. And I'm going to put minus 8 here because then I end up with 5x plus 6 there. So my expression comes down to being 7x lots of the bracket minus 8 lots of the bracket. So it's 7x minus 8 lots of the bracket. So there's that expression factorised. I can't factorise it any further. So that's as far as I can factorise that expression in x. Let's go back to the question. Show that your answer to part A can be written as a product of two prime factors. Let's have a look at our answer to A. 21877, and that was the value of our expression when x equals 25. So that will equal 7x minus 8 multiplied by 5x plus 6 when x equals 25. Well, 7 25s minus 8 is going to be one of my two factors, and 5 25s plus 6 is going to be the other factor. So my two prime factors are 167 and 131. And that is question 11 complete. Question 12, expand and simplify if possible. Well, part A, I'm simply going to do root 2 times 3, which is 3 root 2, plus root 2 times root 5. And of course, I can simplify root 2 times root 5 to root 10. Let's have a look at part B. Right, I'm going to have my first two terms multiplied by each other, 2 times 5. Right, now I've got twice root 3 there, so plus 2 root 3, and with my middle two terms I get minus 5 root 5. And then my minus root 5 multiplied by plus root 3 is going to be minus root 15. That is my answer for B. Right, let's have a look at C. So let's write this down here. 6 minus root 2, lots of 4 minus root 7. 6 fours are 24. Right, then I'm going to have 6 multiplied by minus root 7, minus 6 root 7. I've got minus root 2 times 4, minus 4 root 2. And now I've got minus root 2 multiplied by minus root 7 plus root 14. And there is question 12 complete. Question 13. Right, I'm rationalising the denominators here. Now part A, I'm simply going to multiply top and bottom by root 3, which is going to give me root 3 over 3. And there you are, the denominator is now a rational number. Part B, I've got 1 over root 2 minus 1. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by root 2 plus 1. Right, on the top, I'm going to have 1 times root 2 plus 1. And on the bottom, I'm going to have root 2 times root 2 is 2. My middle two terms will disappear, and then I have minus 1. So my final answer is root 2 plus 1 over 1, which is simply root 2 plus 1. Let's look at part C. 3 over root 3 minus 2. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by root 3 plus 2. Root 3 plus 2. That's going to leave me with 3 lots of root 3 plus 2 over root 3 times root 3 is 3. The middle terms disappear. Minus 2 times plus 2 is minus 4. So I'm left with 3 root 3 plus 6 over minus 1. So my final answer is going to be minus 3 root 3 minus 6. Okay, D. All right, let's write down the question for D over here. D. Root 23 minus root 37 over root 23 plus root 37. Multiply top and bottom by root 23 minus root 37. So on the top, I'm going to have root 23 minus root 37 multiplied by root 23 minus root 37. And on the bottom, I'm going to have root 23 times root 23, which is 23. The middle terms disappear, minus root 37 times root 37, which is 37. So on the denominator of this fraction, I'm just going to have minus 14. Now on the top, I've got root 23 minus root 27 squared. So I'm going to end up with root 23 times root 23 is 23. Root 23 times minus root 37, and then minus root 37 multiplied by root 23. Well, that's going to leave me with minus 2 root 23 times root 37. And my final term, minus root 37 multiplied by minus root 37 is plus 37. So what am I going to have? 23 minus 2 root 851, 23 times 37, plus 37, all over minus 14. Okay, simplify the top. That gives me 23 and 37, gives me 60, minus 2 root 851 over 14, over minus 14. I'm going to divide top and bottom by minus 2. That's going to leave me with root 851 minus 30 over 7. And that is question 13D done. Right, 13E. Here's the question for part E, 1 over 2 plus root 3 squared, which is simply going to be 1 over 2 plus root 3 multiplied by 2 plus root 3. So let's multiply out that denominator there. It's going to be 1 over 2 2's are 4 plus 2 root 3 and another 2 root 3 makes 4 root 3 plus root 3 times root 3 is 3. So this is simply 1 over 7 plus 4 root 3. Now, I need to rationalize the denominator here, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 7 minus 4 root 3. 7 minus 4 root 3. So that's going to give me 1 times 7 minus 4 root 3 on the top. And on the bottom, I'm going to have 7 squared minus 4 root 3 times 4 root 3. 4 root 3 times 4 root 3. 16 times 3. So that is 7 minus 4 root 3 over 49 minus 48. So it is simply 7 minus 4 root 3 over 1, or 7 minus 4 root 3. So that is part E done. Now, what about part F? Here's the question for part F. 1 over 4 minus root 7 all squared. So I'm going to follow a similar method. So I'm going to expand these brackets on the denominator of my fraction. So I'm going to have 1 over 4 fours are 16 minus 8 root 7 plus 7, which is going to give me 1 over 23 minus 8 root 7. Okay. So I need to rationalize the denominator now. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 23 plus 8 root 7, and multiply the bottom as well by 23 plus 8 root 7. Okay, so what's that going to look like now? Well, on the top, I've got 23 plus 8 root 7, and my denominator is going to be 23 squared, which is 529. The middle terms are going to disappear, and I'm going to have minus 8 times 8 is 64, and root 7 times 7 is 7. Now, I best work that out. So that's going to be 23 plus 8 root 7 over 529 minus 64 sevenths. Okay, so let's work that out. 23 plus 8 root 7 over 529, take away 448 is 81. And I can't simplify that any further. And that is question 13 complete. Question 14. Okay, so you've got this expression, x cubed minus x squared minus 17x minus 15, and you know that equals x plus 3 multiplied by an x squared, some x's, and a number at the end. Right, to start with, we can work out the number at the end, because we know that the plus 3 has to multiply by something to give us minus 15. So we know that that's got to be minus 5. Okay, how to work out our number of x's here? Well, if I was multiplying out the bracket on the right-hand side, I would end up with some x's. I'd end up with some x's because I'd be doing x times minus 5. That, by the way, would give me minus 5 x's. And I'd also be doing 3 multiplied by a number of x's here. And I know that altogether, I need to end up with minus 17 x's. That means that 3 multiplied by the number of x's here must equal minus 12x. So 3 multiplied by minus 4x would give me the minus 12x. So now, if I look at what I've got on the right-hand side, I know it'll give me the minus 15. I know it'll give me minus 17x. Let's check it'll give me minus x squared. Where are those x squareds going to come from? Well, they're going to come from the 3 times the x squared, 3x squared. They're going to come from x multiplied by minus 4x. So I'm going to have 3x squared and minus 4x squared, which equals minus an x squared, which is what I was hoping for. So there is my solution to A. The solution is that B would be minus 4 and C would be minus 5. Part B, hence fully factorise my expression. Right, well I know that my expression is x plus 3, lots of x squared minus 4x minus 5. So all I need to do is to continue to factorise. So I'm going to write that as x plus 3 multiplied by, let's have a look, what's it going to be? Multiply to minus 5, so a plus and a minus. And I've got to multiply to the 5 and have minus 4, so I'm going to have minus 5x's and plus 1x. And that is number 14 finished.